Alright guys, what's up? So today we're going to be talking about drifting in CarX. So, yeah, don't mind that guy. Okay, so assuming you guys are on controller, I do have a controller settings video that I use out on my channel as well, and the exact tune for this car. So if you guys want to go check those out, you can get exactly caught up to me with where I am right now, and then you guys can start learning how to drift with me in this game. So once you've done that, come back to this video, or if you already got settings you like, then that's totally cool, keep those. I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible. So the first thing you want to recognize in this game is if we go to our settings here, controls, and go to our advanced, we're going to talk about the gearbox type and the clutch. So as a normal manual car is, or an automatic, the clutch is the pedal, or I guess you could use it as like a paddle. You pull in to change the gear of the car. And you always want to use the clutch when you're changing the gear. Now, in this game, I would recommend keeping your gearbox on manual, and this means that you do have to shift gears, but I would recommend also keeping your clutch on automatic, not manual. And the reason for this is even most pros will tell you just not to use a manual clutch unless you are using a steering wheel. That's different, but we're talking about controller here. It takes too much time, and it's another thing you have to think about, and it's not really worth the performance hit. You're going to do much worse trying to use a manual clutch. I would recommend keeping a manual gearbox and an automatic clutch. So now that we have that figured out and you guys are caught up to date with settings, I'm going to talk about how to start drifting. So whenever you come up, I'm just going to go around here and find a normal turn. You want to start roughly to the other side. So you guys can see I'm hugging this white line here, right? I'm hugging this white line. And then when I come into the drift, I'm going to drift, and then I'm going to hug this white line right here. So don't mind these guys doing this crazy stuff, right? But actually, this is not a great example, but you guys can see that I'm going to hug this white line on the inside, stay on the outside, hug this white line on the inside, and then stay on the outside. Those are not very good examples because those corners are way too sharp for me to do anything in, really. But I'll show you guys over here real quick what I'm talking about. So I want to stay on the outside, then I want to hug the inside, right? And then we're going to hug the inside and continue to hug it. And we always want to stay in the middle to the outside and just constantly hug the corners. In this game, the cleanest drifts happen when you're hugging the corners. You'll see somebody talk about like a wall tap, and that's where they're hugging the corners so hard that the back of their car is just going to whip out and just hit the side. But I actually tried to do it and I missed, so that's kind of embarrassing. But yeah, that's what you want to do. So that's what they talk about when they say like they did like a tail swipe or something. So you just want to hug the corners. And I would recommend, by the way, guys, if you're having trouble with the manual thing, trying to get used to that, me and this guy are absolutely going to ram. Sorry. Okay, I just caused a massive collision. We're not going to talk about that, okay? I would also recommend, if you're having trouble using the manual shifting, that you try using an automatic gearbox. I'm starting off in an automatic clutch, and then it'll just shift for you up and down. Then you can kind of get a feel of how you need to follow these lines in the maps, and there's not always going to be lines there, so you do need to kind of figure it out for yourself, but majority of the time there'll be lines. And then once you get comfortable following the lines and hugging the corners, then you can switch to a manual gearbox if you would like. You know, this all opinion. But it is more fun, in my opinion, to use a manual gearbox just because you have more control over the car and you can clutch kick and do all that fun stuff. So yeah. So now that we have the basics down on where you want to follow, we're going to talk about your speed. So for me, right now you guys can see I'm drifting in 6, which is a terrible idea. What am I saying? Idea. Just because you want to stay in the gear relative to your speed or your RPM, right? So sorry if you guys heard that. I don't know what that was. So starting off, you're always going to start in 1, right? Let's just say this is the starting point. You're at the checkered and you're starting at 1. You're going to take off, right? You're going to immediately max out, and then I would immediately shift up to like 3rd or 4th, right? And so I'm just going to drift casually in 4th here with these guys. And for the most part, I'm not maxing out. Right here, I might shift to 5th and then come back to 4th once this turn ends. But for the most part, I am staying in 4th. 4th is a really good median when you're drifting, but I would not recommend like drifting in 7th here because it's like, actually, this car doesn't do 7. I don't know if any cars do 7 in this game. I just know some cars have 7 speeds. Maybe 6 if it's like really fast, but you're holding off the potential of the car if you're drifting in a gear that's too high, right? And this guy totally screwed me over. That's all right though. You guys might also notice that when you get close to a corner, like if you just watch right here, okay, if I whip by this, you guys can see those numbers on the side. That's just basically telling you how close you are to the corner. And then people do like I said, tail loops before, and they'll try and get really close and like bang their tails on the wall. And that's just something that people do, like that. But I didn't actually bang it. It's way cooler when you don't. So yeah, just these clean turns. You don't want to have any like a bunch of movements like this. This is not like clean or anything. You always want to have fluid movements. Some people are more about that like super aggressive, like constantly like turning movements, but I'm not a big fan of that. I personally like smooth, consistent drifts, right? But it's all up to you, really. A lot of it's personal preference. So yeah, I think you guys have learned the basics to drifting. I'm gonna start uploading probably more, but if you guys did enjoy this, if this did help you out, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 100 subs right now. I know that sounds like totally like cringy, but 100 subs would mean a lot. I really would appreciate it. I might do some live streams in the future, so you guys let me know. But I'm going to be dropping some more tutorials soon and some more videos of gameplay, so hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you guys next time. Later. Shoo!